Scars and Spikes, Sydney, Henry, and Tommy with you as we get ready for Atlanta United's home opener, guys, against Real Salt Lake Saturday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Gentlemen, it's finally here, almost. Atlanta United about to kick off its 2026 home schedule after 2 matches away from Atlanta. Exciting times in Atlanta, Georgia.
Maybe.
Not really.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Maybe, hopefully. We'll see. We'll see.
It'll be rainy times because it's going to rain, but
Closer to
hey,
kickoff,
we'll be back at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, guys. Aren't you excited to be back in the Benz with the fans, tailgate, fun stuff, good soccer, right?
I mean, maybe good soccer, maybe
Maybe.
good soccer, but friends, and is really what it's about. And that's how I got into this, and like going to a tailgate, meeting people, and a lot of people haven't seen each other since October or July after they sold all their tickets last season because it was so bad. So they haven't seen their friends in a long time, and that's what it's about. And we are excited to see all of you because we will all be down there at the Gulch hanging out, and we'll be out in the stadium, I'm sure, walking around.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to black out probably around midnight, and that'll be great.
Well, you say they haven't seen their friends since the summer. I hope they have other friends outside Atlanta United, right?
Well, but like everyone's got like the group of friends that
Yeah.
And maybe there's just a group of friends you see at the Gulch that you're drinking with. Maybe you've never seen that friend sober ever before. Like you just you don't know. Well, maybe that's it. But we'll find out. But you'll see them because it does feel like when you go to the home opener, it definitely feels like no matter what, like just the vibes are there because everyone's just kind of doing everything for the first time for that year and hanging out and talking to everybody. It's a good time. So that's how like my kids were asking me the other day, like, well, doesn't Atlanta United suck now? Are you even excited about going? I was like, it's more about seeing people. That's really what it is. If they win, it's a positive, and if they don't, then we'll I'm sure we'll complain about it on Sunday.
Along the
Guys,
way.
I was looking at something.
Weird. As soon as I started talking, it just decided to kick me out. All right.
Sorry.
Go ahead. I was
No, you go for it.
I was doing a bit. I was just saying the real soccer were the friends we made along the way. But then my Wi-Fi decided to ruin it. So thanks.
I agree. Tyler's not here, but he is joining us from, I guess, the park, right?
I am.
Or from his house.
At the soccer
How's it going?
field.
How's it going?
It's going. It's great weather out here. I'm so happy about this.
I'm glad you can join us just briefly. You have soccer practice, your son. Is that correct?
Yep. Out here. Things got changed, right? Like he's getting to the age now where you got high school games happening on Thursday, so they can't have practice on Thursday, so they had to move it to Wednesday.
Can he play left wing for Atlanta United this Saturday?
He will put in a good effort. I can promise you that much.
Sign him up today.
We need some help.
Tyler, how are you feeling about the home opener? Just briefly. How do you feel?
I'm excited to see the team back in the Benz, and I'm holding out hope that it's the spark that they need. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and try to blow smoke up anybody's rear end and be like, oh, yeah, the way they're playing is going to make anybody feel good about them actually winning the game. But it's Major League Soccer. You got to win your games at home. And if Atlanta wants any opportunity to actually get into the playoffs this year, they've got to start handling business like Saturday. So they're not going to win anything if they play like they did last weekend. But I am excited that they're coming back to the Benz. It's one of my favorite things to go see, go do, go cover. So that right there is kind of like the vibe that I'm rolling on at the moment.
What are you most looking forward to just being back in the Benz on a match day?
Winning.
Besides that,
honestly,
I got some bad news.
Honestly, for me, the whole reason that I really fell in love with Atlanta in the first place, which is the energy when you have that moment where there's a breakaway and somebody's on the ball and it looks like there's a good scoring opportunity coming, and everybody's on the edge of their seat. That's what I want this year. I want the entire Benz thriving off of that, because that's what it's all about. And so I want lots of those opportunities and the goals to go with them. And on top of that, I would like for them to actually win the game. But it's just that energy inside the Benz. There's just nothing like it, and we all can attest to that, having gone to a handful of different stadiums and matches. Like, the Benz is just different.
Yeah. Nothing like it in the world, really. And yeah, I think Atlanta, they haven't had that home advantage that they had in, like, I'll say 2017 through 2019. It just seems like after COVID, right? It's kind of, well, not kind of, it has gone away. But hopefully this year they can get it back. There's a lot of pessimism. I mean, rightfully so because of what we've seen so far. But I don't know. Maybe getting back in front of home fans is what this team needs to get things put together. One can hope, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you, the road, I don't want to say you're expected to lose on the road, because good teams can win on the road. But you usually, I mean, when you look at the Vegas odds usually for it, the home team, especially in MLS, it's out. Like, it's very, very rare that an away team is favored. Like, there's been times where Miami, during their last couple seasons, weren't favored on the road. Like, it's just how it goes. But then when you go to when you come home here, you have to play better. So if Saturday comes and they look just as bad as they did this past week, then I am extremely worried, because they've got a lot of games at home here. You need to bank points now, because you've got this extended homestand. Because if you don't, you could be out before the World Cup even starts.
So it's 4 games at home in a row here, right? How many points, like, what is the minimum of points that this team needs to get in this 4-game homestand?
Henry, I'm just hoping they get points this weekend.
Yeah, but I'm saying, right? Because we're talking about Tommy brings up a good point. On the road in MLS especially, it's very, very hard to win. You need to win your home games, and if you win your home games, you're in a very good position to make the playoffs. So if we look at this 4-game homestand, right? RSL, next week it's Philadelphia, DC, then Columbus. At the end of this 4-game homestand, how many points do we need to have? Minimum.
9.
9? Is it how many points we think they'll have, or how many points do Atlanta United need to have made significant progress?
Yeah, let's say that.
I mean, look at the quality of opponent. Considering
who's the matchup? Just tell me who it is. I was going to look it up, but you have it?
RSL first, then Philadelphia, then DC, then Columbus.
7.
7. I was thinking, considering the opponents that are playing, considering how Atlanta United's played to start out this season, I could see 7 points. I'd be happy with 7 points. I feel like I could be happy with 6 points as long as he's showing significant progress from the first 2 matches of the season. But you got to crawl before you walk before you run. I mean, just hopefully you can carry something over to Real Salt Lake, or put something together against Real Salt Lake, and at least give a good account of yourself at home, Tyler.
I think any of that's realistic. That's the problem, right? Because you don't really know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And Omar, 10 minimum would be wonderful. 10? I mean, because you look like you need to.
This is 2018.
Seriously, as a team, you need to go home and handle business. Like, you need to go win your games here. And you're not going to win every one, but if you win 3 and draw 1, okay, then that erases a lot of the crap from the first 2 matches of the season. But
no,
I just think if it's anything less than 6, that's going to be full meltdown on Twitter type situation. But if you get 7, would be pushing it. If you get 9 or anything above that, that erases a lot, and then you're looking like, okay, that puts us
dancing
back
in the streets at that point.
Yeah, for real. That gets you where you need to be, and then you hopefully at that point the away matches become a little bit more manageable, because hopefully, in theory, they're playing better ball. They've gotten Tata ball kind of figured out, and then they can go hopefully handle business elsewhere.
Yeah. I will say this, at least Atlanta United is not Montreal or Sporting Kansas City at this point. I mean, although they may as well.
Do they all have 0
They
points?
have the same amount of points.
At least Atlanta has given
Sporting
up like
Kansas
5.
has 1 point, so
They
Sporting
do have
Kansas is
1 point.
above Atlanta right now.
I just don't know if I've seen people like Doyle say this. I've seen just others say it. Yes, Atlanta United looks worse than they did in 2025. I just don't know if they'll sustain that poor level of play throughout the season. I think we will see some progress. As if this is me as half empty or half full cup talking. I just feel like we will see some progress. I mean, Galarza, we haven't talked about him yet. I hope that he can help this team in the midfield. Hope he can provide some stability there. Jakob will be pushed back to right back. I hope that he can be as good a right back as he's been at the number 6. Although he might stay at the number 6, who knows at this rate. But I just hope those little tweaks can give you some positive momentum. You got to get the attack figured out, guys. I mean, this attack has been dreadful over the past couple of games. Looks worse than last year. And I just don't know what you need to do to get them to the level they need to play. I mean, outside of subtracting players from that setup, I mean, Almiron, we've talked about him, just a shell of his former self. Latte Lot looks like a bust every week. Moranchuk, inconsistent. Saba has been just in horrible form over the past couple of years. Just what is the solution, I guess, to get these guys playing together well? And Tata said he can get the DPs playing together well and they can coexist, but he's got to do something quick, guys, before the season spirals further out of control.
I was going to say here. Oh, go ahead, Tyler.
No, I'm gonna dip out after this. They've got to come out with their hair on fire. They've got to come out showing the fans that they want to be there, because what you saw last Saturday was not that at all. It was pathetic, if we're being honest. That was a really, really poor showing of football from Atlanta United. And the saving grace here is the fact that you do have Tata Martino, who he's not gonna allow that. He sees the problem. He mentioned it that night. He knows what's up, and he does have a good track record of going and fixing issues immediately. And but I think at the end of the day, sometimes it's as simple as just coming out and showing that you want this more than the other team. Even if you're making mistakes, even if the game plan is not going the way you want it to, when you have 11 dudes that are out there and they clearly show they want to win that soccer game more than the other 11 guys, and they're in front of all their fans and it's loud and everything else, that's more than half the battle. So,
yeah.
But Tata is going to be able to fix, I think, some things. Roster changes are going to have to be had to fix the others, whether that's right now or in the summer. But I think a lot will be told about this version of Atlanta United after Saturday, because if they crash and burn in front of their home fans, that's a problem.
Before you dip out, you want to give us your score prediction?
I'm going to go 3-2 Atlanta.
Wow.
Was that the score of the Montreal game last year at the opener? Was it 3-2?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Who scores? Who scores El Zate?
I'm out.
All three DPs.
The entire back line. Oyo's next one at the death. Shut everybody up.
With his hair.
Yeah.
Latte Loth in the 12th, Miggy in the 42nd, and Alexi in the 82nd.
Man, I hope so.
Mark it down. Let's go.
Are you allowed to be drunk while you're at the
No.
watching kids soccer?
No.
If Latte Lot scores, that's progress. It's kind of mean, but
Public intoxication. What? No.
All right, well, you sober up, Tyler.
These guys get it right. I'll do my best. I'm going to go do some walking. I'll see what I can get out of my system.
Have fun.
See y'all.
So, Dollar.
See ya. Well, and Bruno says here, I don't think they look worse than 2025. I mean, I think they look about the same, to be honest. I mean, I don't think it's that different than what we saw, the last 3 months of this team. It was just so bad there, or, they they look the same as the end of the Valentino, or not the Valentino, oh my
Pineda.
gosh, Pineda, thank you. There's so many coaches, it's hard to keep track of these days. The Pineda, the Pineda era, like that was how bad that they looked there. It's there's just like, and we'll get into it here soon, but I feel like we're due for some lineup changes after going back to back games with the same lineup, and there's a lot of questions here. Does Alexi start the game? Are they gonna? Is he gonna start? Are you gonna make a change on that back line that has seemed shaky? Does Dion check in?
Yeah.
We've got to the part where everyone's talking about Hoyos already, and could Jaden Hibbert check in? I highly doubt that one. If there was any, the other two I could potentially see making a change of goal. I don't think is going to happen this early, but who knows? Depending on how he's feeling. I know he was limping a little bit there towards the end. Is he going to be able to start? But if you just ask me what my dream lineup is, it's putting those three in and seeing how it goes. It'd be disappointing if it's the same lineup. I will be very upset, and many exclamation marks on X. Tata. A lot of exclamation marks.
I don't think you can run out the same lineup, man. And I think Tata even, in a way, admitted to such in his post-match press conference, where he acknowledged, right, the changes that they made in the second half, right? That's where you saw this team shift into, we saw some positive stuff. And he said that's what the team kind of needs to build off of. So I think that's what you'll probably see. One thing that I spotlighted, I'll just go ahead and kind of plug it, but my column that I do every week, Risers and Fallers, one of the things I talk about is Pedro Amador's new role in midfield. And Tata's talked about it before, that he believes that Pedro Amador has more techniques more similar to that of a midfielder. And so we saw him deployed as an 8 in this game. And I thought he looked very good. I thought he connected play very well. He found the right spaces, was very progressive with the ball, and helped kind of fashion some of the best chances of that game. So I hope we see that again, because that's exactly what we need: more mobility and connectivity between kind of the midfield and these forward players.
Here's one name that we haven't mentioned yet, guys. And by the way, Evan Weston from MLS and Apple TV will be joining us here in just a little bit. He'll be calling the match from Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Saturday. But here's a name that we haven't mentioned yet: is Jay Fortune. And Jay Fortune was on Greg Gazan's podcast saying, "Oh, I'm back. It was his first full training. Henry, you were there on Tuesday with the first team. He had been training with the twos." We don't know where Jay Fortune fits into Tata Martino's plans. You would hope that he fits pretty well in them. You hope that Tata can get use of him, because we've seen his talent, we've seen his ability on the pitch when he has played, but unfortunately that injury has set him back. So obviously he's not going to be 100% right away, fully match fit. I don't expect him to start on Saturday by any stretch of the imagination, but I would hope he gets like a 30-minute run out or so, or thereabouts, to get his legs back underneath him. And then maybe in a couple of weeks he can be 90 minutes fit if Tata does choose to put him out there full time. But you have to look at, who does he turn to at that number 8 spot? Is it Alzate? Does he stay with Alzate, who Henry, you've had some qualms about? Does he go to Muyumba, who, when he came in, we saw some promise from Muyumba? Does he put Fortune in? Does he deploy him, as Bruno said in the chat, in another spot on the pitch altogether, commensurate with his abilities? But you have to think about, hey, where does Jay Fortune fit into this equation? Stian, we mentioned him. Is he in Tata's plans? These are questions you have to ask. Hibbert, is he in Tata's plans? And I mentioned this on Sunday on the Match Reaction podcast with Tommy. Is Tata going to be stubborn and say, these are my guys, and sticking with my guys come hell or high water? Or is he going to be willing to make changes as needed? Because if he's stubborn, if he just sticks to his guys, without any thought of bringing anybody else in, this team is in trouble.
Yeah, I hear you talking about the midfield, and I just like I keep hearing you throw names out. I'm like, eh,
About who?
and like that, it's like, oh, there's all these guys, and they're all like, nothing excites me right now about the midfield. The thing that excites me the most is that Jay could be back starting in the next couple weeks. To be honest
Yeah.
with you, like Alexi, who I mean, some put in there, Brendan starting on the left here. Who knows where Alexi, if Alexi starts, where he goes in here? They could be
Mhm.
on the left and right, and like there's so many puzzle pieces, and we've talked about the puzzle pieces over the couple of years. You got to get them right together. Well, all these puzzle pieces just like they don't belong in, like they're it's getting formed like a kid doing it, just saying, I'm not making the what it should be. I'm just putting them
Yeah.
wherever they want. And that's really what it feels like. It's like, okay, you got two guys that could be the number 10, but they might not be they might be on the left and the right.
Yeah.
But we're bringing in another guy that can play the 10. It's only week 3. It's only week 3.
3 of 34.
At least we get. I don't know what's gonna happen. You know what's gonna. I know exactly what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen is this team is going to all of a sudden, like the last 2 games before the World Cup, they're gonna win like 5-0 and like 4-1. Write
I
that
hope so.
down, Bruno. I know you're listening. Write that down. Bring it
This
back.
week.
Then it's going to be the World Cup break, right when we got all the momentum, because it happens every damn time there's an international break. We always win that game, and then we come back and we lose the next 2. It's like written in Atlanta lore that is how it's going to work. But just remember, last year this team did come out looking very good for about
Against
6
Montreal.
weeks. No, they had scored. Look, they looked good. They just weren't finishing their chances. Okay,
Mm.
they looked like a dangerous
Weird.
team that was going to turn on at any moment. Then it went to nothing, and then we were in purgatory for the remainder of the season there. So all I'm saying is things could turn around for better or even worse. I know there's even worse, but you could get below Montreal, which is even worse. But what you really need here, they could start figuring things out here, and you still have some pieces move. But this week, you have to see your 3 DPs show up at home in front of your fans to get behind them, because right now no one's behind all 3 of them. Mickey last year got a lot of extra, or I'm sorry, not a lot of extra. There were excuses for him. I feel like the fans gave him a little bit more excuses than say Latte
Yeah.
La, because they
Yeah.
both said that they were tired, they didn't get a break there. But if you said to me, which one do you feel better for? Which one? It's always going to be Miggy, because we've had that history with him. So
Yeah.
people are just like, oh well, they're setting Miggy up here, but screw Alexi and Latte Lath. No, like Miggy is just in the same situation as the other 2. They haven't shown us anything in a long time. And this match is exactly where, and we're all going in with negative energy about the 3 of them because of what you've seen. This is their chance to prove everybody wrong.
Yeah. Henry, what are you thinking?
I gotta agree with Tommy. I mean, we have yet to see the 3 DPs work together as well as Tata insists that they can, because the whole rhetoric this preseason was the 3 DPs are complementary. They can work well together. We can fix this. And we haven't seen that happen. In preseason, we didn't get to see it happen because they never played together. The season has started 2 games now, and we still haven't seen that come together because Alexi has been injured or coming back from injury, or who knows, because at this point we asked him if he was healthy and he said yes, and apparently he wasn't, so who knows at this point. But
Barco knock.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
So we need to see them come together at home. And again, we talked about 4 games at home. You need to show up 100% and absolutely show up for your home crowd and get the job done, because what were we saying when the schedule was released? We said the Columbus game was probably our thermometer for the season, right? That's game 6, right? By that point, you probably have a decent idea of, can this team look good? Will this team be competing or at least trying to make the playoffs this season? Or are we in for another year of misery? And that's probably what we're going to know by the time that Columbus game is over. But it needs to start now. With RSL this weekend, you need to get off to a good start. You need to start building that momentum and just go from there, because I think there is quality in the squad. There has to be. Miguel Almiron is not this bad, guys. Miguel Almiron, we know the quality that he has, and we can certainly see that. Manuel Latelat was a good striker in the championship, and even in Italy, he was a good striker. But especially, when he was purchased, he had the qualities of a good striker. He came in and had 5 goals in his first 6 games.
Yeah.
So there is quality there. It's just not showing right now for some reason. Now is the time. We need to see that come out now, sooner rather than later, because if not, there's got to be some drastic changes. And there are 2 buyouts available.
Yeah.
And at this point, I wouldn't take it off the table to use one on a DP that is severely underperforming.
Which one?
That's what we're going to find out.
We've already been having that conversation. I think I asked you that on Sunday.
No, we have. It's tongue in cheek. That was tongue in cheek.
But I hope the front office has a point. Like have we said like a point of saying, all right, if these DPs just can't get it together, when do we pull the alarm here and go out there and replace them with someone that is going to fit this system and is going to be able to help run this team? And that's going to be really difficult here. I mean, I said it on Sunday. I think it's Miguel Almiron right now. He's got to prove me wrong, but like, there's a season for every player in every sport where you see him come out in the season and you're like, yeah, he's going to retire soon, or he just doesn't have it in him. Now, I'm not saying it, but when you watch those first 2 matches, it's creeping in my head that he's not as fast. He's not getting around players. You get older, they get younger. It gets hard when you don't have speed.
We haven't mentioned Galarza too much, and obviously that's the signing from a few days ago that Atlanta United made. Finally over the line. We talked about earlier, he'll likely be at the 6, put Jakub at the right back where he was initially signed to be at in the first place. I guess, what are you guys thinking? I mean, we talked about it, I feel like a few weeks ago when the reports initially came out that he was coming to Atlanta as a loan through the summer. If he starts half of his games between now and the time his loan ends is a purchase option for $3 million. I like it. I think it's a good move. From what I've heard, he's a good player. I think, Henry, you were talking about this in the Discord. There are some River fans that weren't too happy, or not too happy, that we're pretty happy to see him go. Like, I mean, I don't know if that's down to just South American fans,
River Plate fans, and look, nothing against River Plate fans, but River Plate fans are very, how do I say this nicely? They're very, they expect a lot from their players and their team, and if they're not amazing quality and like blow your socks off, like, oh my God, this guy's gonna be one of the best in the world, then they're not going to be happy with it. And that's just the standard that there is in South America, because soccer is lived differently down there. You got to be honest. So that's kind of the thing. But when you look at the way that this guy plays, Matias Galarza, he looks like a very solid number 8. He looks like a guy with a lot of technical skill, someone who can very easily kind of draw in defenders, make space on other areas of the pitch, and then kind of help you advance the play in that way. So that is something that Atlanta is kind of missing right now, is a player that has that technical ability to move the ball forward a little bit, kind of manipulate the space around him, and kind of try to help bridge that gap that exists right now between kind of the midfield line and your 3 forwards. I saw that comment. I'm not going to confirm or deny, but yeah, it's he's a player that I think is going to really, really help this team. And Tata's talked about it, that the build up and the building of attacks is really where this team, it's his biggest concern with this team right now. And we saw that in these first 2 games. They weren't really, what was their main method of getting the ball from the back to the front? It was long balls because they didn't have any sort of connection. Well, this is a guy that very well could help you start to form that connection and start to actually build comprehensive attacks instead of depending on these hopeful long balls forward.
Tommy, we know we got to get Evan in just quickly in a few seconds, but I guess what are your initial impressions to seeing Galarza over the line?
It's another puzzle piece that you're throwing in the midfield, trying to figure out, what combination is going to work here. I just had a question for you both. Is it to assume that he is going to be here for the entire year, that they're going to purchase him?
I
Is
would
the
think
loan
so.
thing more just salary reasons?
I would think so. That's just my impression.
I was just curious.
The
if anyone
loan
had a
is
thought
through
on
the
that.
summer, though, right?
Yeah, let's do the
Yeah.
summer.
It's real
So
short.
it might be. Yeah, it might be.
I mean, if he's
It
that
might
bad,
it might give
I
you
mean, I
time
guess.
to clear out some remaining space on the roster for you
Yeah.
to then have the cap space to fit him in. But who knows really at this point?
Yeah, I mean that's a good
Playing
shout,
chess,
for
kids.
sure.
We're playing
Yeah,
chess.
right.
No checkers.
Yeah,
Chess.
chess.
Go ahead.
Atlanta United against Real Salt Lake on Saturday, 7:30 p.m. kickoff at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And joining us to talk about it is Evan Weston from MLS on Apple TV. I believe his first time on the Scars and Specs podcast. Evan, how's it going?
Evening, fellas. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, good. Thanks for joining us. Tommy's a little
0-2.
okay.
Scared for the home
I
opener.
know. Not the best start, but hey, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. And that's what I remember covering the match at Cincinnati, the loss to FC Cincinnati, and Anea Mihai, the defender, said pretty much the same thing. It's a marathon. The season doesn't end after 2 matches. But if you look at how the team has been playing, it looked promising against Cincinnati, but they massively digressed, we think, against San Jose. I mean, fans are, especially coming off of the back of 2025, fans are understandably pessimistic about what 2026 could bring, even though Tata Martino is here.
Yeah, and nobody wants to hear, have patience, trust the process, give it time, right? I mean, and I think Atlanta is a very unique club for a couple of reasons. One, the way you guys came into Major League Soccer was historic. Not just the success on the field, but the ridiculous amount of fan backing that the team had pretty much from the word go. And I mean, what did they score? 10 goals in their first 2 games in 17, and it was something crazy like that. And then it was off to the races, right? So you're packing the Benz with 60,000 plus week in and week out. MLS looks like it has a legit super club for the first time since the Galaxy. And really since the pandemic, those expectations have not consistently been met. And now you're in an interesting spot where you have a fan base that is used to, or at least expects more than maybe most fan bases in Major League Soccer do, and a team that has not met those expectations more often than not. And so I understand completely the mood of the fan base right now. And our job on the broadcast is to, tell these stories, and certainly that is part of it right now. Is that Atlanta is not in the not where they want to be. I think the people involved, I think Tata Martino would be the first to tell you that what we saw last weekend is not acceptable and not what they want to see. And I would say I think San Jose is going to end up being pretty good. Those cross-country road games for Eastern Conference teams are nightmares. Teams don't win those very often. I thought they were a lot more competitive against Cincinnati, and it'll be much more telling once we see this team play at home. I also thought there was some stuff in the second half that was really interesting. And I'm sure you guys have noted this based on what they did with some of their substitution patterns. And I wonder if we might see a little bit more of a break from what we saw in 2025 this week. We haven't talked to Tata yet. This is just me speculating. But I wonder, I would have to think he's going to dial up a little bit more in terms of changes to the personnel and even maybe to the model than what we saw last week. When you saw maybe Amador in midfield, I don't know why we keep trying to make Almiron happen on the right. Get him back over to the left. He was or central. He was a lot more dangerous. So we'll see. But look, I understand the mood of the fan base right now, and certainly it'll be an interesting atmosphere. That said, I got to do a game at the Benz last year. In fact, I did 2 Atlanta games, and they did not lose either of them. So if your fingers are crossed, I did the game they won in Nashville, where Ronald Hernandez scored a header. So that was one for the ages. And then I did the San Diego game at home near the end of the season, where they kind of took points off San Diego, which was a bit of an upset. So, maybe just, putting that out there, but yeah, let's see them play at home and let's see what that building and the energy of those fans does to make this team look a little bit better.
You talk about telling stories, and when we listen to, whether it's on the radio or the television, the thing that has always drove me crazy when people talk about Atlanta United, and I understand why they do it, but it's just to talk about how much money is invested in the team, and it's always obviously it's the DPs and how much you throw in there, and I could just see. I could see like the graphic that they always bring up on the screen, and it'll be like, oh, here's Pity Martinez, here's Joseph Martinez, what they're all making. I still have that specific picture in my head, but like that's the thing that we've been talking about for the past, since the summer, was that you have these 3 DPs and they have not been able to really get in sync together or even be able to do anything on their own. And that's really, I think, our biggest concern right now is that it almost seems like right now you're 0 for 3 on the DPs.
Well, the spoiler for you guys, I'm doing the game with Dax McCarty this weekend. So he'll be making his return. And we asked him, what player would you like to feature for Atlanta before the game? He said, we have to talk about Latte Lot because he's making all this money and he's got to produce. It's a storyline, guys. When your team spends money and the players don't pan out, it's tough. That said, it's not done yet. He was hurt most of last year, had that tremendous start. We know the talent is there. He's a little bit undersized, but I think physically is so strong that he and good in the air that he should be able to overcome that. I think the biggest problem when I watch them, and this has been remedied a little bit by just not playing one of them, is that Almiron and Miranchuk can't seem to be on the field at the same time. And that is maybe a roster construction issue. But again, all 3, I mean, look, Miguel Almiron is proven. All of these guys have been good and it's down to, them to either figure it out or move one, right, to open things up and be able to change things. I do think it's a credit to Tata that he has given a young player like Cooper Sanchez, who has obviously earned an opportunity and might have been Atlanta's best player through the first 2 games, an opportunity to play. He's not going to let those price tags dictate playing time, which is something that happens quite frequently, not just in MLS or in soccer, in all sports. If you give a player a big money contract and then they stink, you have to keep playing them. If you're the Braves and Chris Sale, suddenly goes into the tank because he's 37, you're not going to take him out of the rotation because he's Chris Sale and you have to keep using him. I'm a Met fan, so I'm wish casting a little bit. But what I want to say is it's good that Tata Martino has the credibility to say, I'm going to put the best 11 guys out there no matter what. So even if your roster is maybe not constructed perfectly, you have the opportunity to still play your best players because you have a manager who no one is going to say no to or question. And that's something that may give them a little bit of time to figure this out. You guys were just talking about Galarza, who they just signed this week. He seems like someone who should go right in as well, and really help to kind of link the whole thing together. Maybe that gives the DPs more of a platform to succeed. I think that's an exciting signing. So Jakob has looked really, really good early on. That's been a positive. So there are things bubbling under the surface. But you guys are absolutely right. The DP issue, if you don't hit on your DPs in MLS, it's very hard to win. It is you get 3 shots and it is so difficult to win if even two of those are not contributing at the level as two of your best players, much less all three. So that is absolutely issue number one, it would seem to me, for Atlanta right now. I think you guys are spot on.
And one of those DPs, obviously Miguel Almiron, the big storybook return last season, didn't quite go as planned. This is take two, this time with Tata Martino. We're kind of expecting, okay, well, Tata knew how to use Miggy back then, right? In 17 and 18, knew how to get the best of him. Surely he can help unlock him now as well. And in these first two games, we haven't exactly seen that. What has been kind of, what are your thoughts so far on Miguel Almiron and a little bit of can Tata really get the best of him now again in 2026?
Well, again, players age, right? And Miguel Almiron in 2018 and Miguel Almiron in 2026 are different players. So is the 2018 version of Miguel Almiron coming back? We probably have enough of a sample at this point to say probably not. Does that mean he can't be a really effective MLS player? No, of course not. He is proven, not just in this league, but at the very highest level, as a guy who can impact winning. And I have to think, again, it's very early. They haven't played a home game yet. I have to think that there's better coming from Miguel Almiron. Is he going to go close to 20-20 again and 20 and 20 and win the MVP? Probably not. Could you get 15 and 12 out of him? Sure, I think so. And would that be worth it? Absolutely. It's just a matter of, again, the team coming off of last year, I think, has to rebuild so many different levels that your DPs need that platform to succeed. There's probably one guy in the whole league that can do it on his own. Pretty much everybody else needs, soccer is more than any other sport about fit and chemistry and model and putting guys in positions to succeed. I think Tata Martino has a long enough track record, including with this club, to give him a little bit of time. Again, like we said right off the top, the fan base being on edge is 100% understandable. I'm sure they'd be the first to tell you that. And no one's going to make excuses. At the same time, I do think that there is enough credibility in the building now, and that goes up to Chris Henderson, who has been a phenomenal CSO in MLS with multiple different clubs. I think that goes to the point where you do, let's see, again, Galarza is a really good start. Jakob is a really good start. They can probably create a little bit more flexibility as we go into the summer. You have the World Cup break to where you can actually make impactful transfers and bed them in with more than half the season to go. Let's see what all this looks like then. And let's see what they look like at home a couple of times before we start writing their obituary.
But I guess my question, Evan, is with Tata and the Jakob signing, I'm sure he had his print all over it. Baez at left back.
Sure.
Galarza certainly. Hoyos in goal. Those are quote unquote his players. And I guess my worry is he gets to a point where, and listen, he's won MLS Cup, right, in 2018. So he's forgotten more about soccer than I'll ever learn in my lifetime. But I just worry there's a risk of Tata hanging his hat on those players regardless and saying, these are my guys. I'm not going to sit them. Whereas if, although Miggy in there too, of course. Whereas if it's somebody like Alzate, somebody like Barakal, who are signed under previous coaches, my worry is he's going to be more willing to give, quote unquote, his guys more rope than he does with players who aren't his guys. I guess that's my worry. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I would say outside of Hoyos, his guys have looked pretty good so far.
Yeah.
The Hoyos one is interesting to me because I did two of the games Jaden Hibbert played last year, and including the game against Nashville where he was our player of the match. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was kind of his oh wow, who is this kid game where people kind of sat up and took notice. And he got the rest of the season based off of that performance. I was a little bit surprised at that move. This is not uncommon though with Tata and with managers of his type. Remember, Miami brought in Oscar Ustari, kind of the same sort of profile. Older Argentine goalkeeper, familiar with with management and with some of the other players. I am interested to watch that storyline as the year goes on because I do think Hoyos probably has something of a short leash, or should, and we'll see how that goes. The other guys, I mean, Hako certainly looks like a foundational piece early on here. Baya's a really young, talented player. Does that let you move Amador into midfield? They seem to really want to do that. When he's popped up there, he's looked really good. Goodness knows this team needs interior chance creation. That's something that he can provide from those positions. So again, I understand that, but this is, I think it's true of every coach, right? Every coach has their guys. Alzate was Ronnie Dyla's guy, right? At Standard Liège. He comes in. Now he's on a long-term contract. I believe he signed through 2030. You've added another piece to central midfield here in Galarza. So there are certainly things to suss out with that. Somebody, Sanchez deserves to play. Be hard to sit him at this point. So there's a lot of bodies in that room now. Something might have to give there. But yes, again, the roster is not optimized right now. It's going to take some time for that to happen. I do think, again, Tata has the track record, and the guys they have signed for him, for the most part, have been very encouraging thus far. So I would maybe lean on hoping we get a couple more of those Tata Martino guys as things go along. It certainly worked out the first time when you had Tito Villalba and Joseph and Yamil Assad. I mean, listen, I worked for Orlando City for 9 years. I remember Joseph cackling on the couch and all of that. Those were nightmarish teams to face. We were a ways away from that, of course, but I think, again, grace and patience. While I don't think the club can necessarily ask that of the fans based on how the last 5 years have gone, I don't think that hitting the panic button in any way would be optimal right now for Atlanta United's future. I think we've got to kind of let this play out.
There's so many midfielders.
There are a lot of midfielders, yes.
That's why they're throwing them all on the wing. They're like, well, we can't fit you all in the middle here.
Yes.
Well, I have not been able to watch RSL at all this week, so I was hoping I could cheat off your homework and you tell us a little bit about RSL.
Yeah, they're a little under the radar, aren't they? And yet they usually pop up in the playoffs and shock somebody every year. They are really part of this play your kids thing we've seen around MLS these first 2 weeks. I think that is the biggest storyline in the league thus far, is how much young teenage talent has popped off. I did the Red Bull game week 1, and Dax and I saw the Red Bull lineup, and we saw this teenager starting over Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting, and we were like, Michael Bradley, are you kidding me? Yeah. How could you do that in week 1? And that shows what we know, right? Wow, shocker. Michael Bradley knows what he's doing. But RSL started 3 teenagers last week as well, including one of the most exciting in Major League Soccer in Xavier Gozo. He is 18 years old, Utah native, grew up with the club, broke his leg at 15, or else might have been up even earlier than he is now, but has come through and is healthy and is really popped off. He's an attacker by trade, but they have moved him to right wing back, and Pablo Mastroeni switched to a 3-4-2-1, think Columbus Crew, FC Cincinnati kind of system. They're very expansive. They really got on the ball and took it to Seattle at home last weekend, which was very impressive. And Gozo was at the middle of all of it. Whoever's at left back for Atlanta United, and even the left winger, is going to have to deal with his threat. He is constantly bombing forward up that right-hand side. They have a new DP that I'm guessing, again, I don't have any inside information here, but based on what we've seen in his progression, is going to start his first game this week in Morgan Gilavogi. RSL came into quite a bit of money when the Blitzer group bought the team a few years ago. They have since handed things off to the Miller family, who ran the Jazz for 40 years. They have more capital to spend than they used to. They had missed on some of these higher profile DP signings. Gilavogi looks like a hit. He didn't have a ton of goals on his record, and it kind of went under the radar when they signed him, but a guy that has really popped when he's come in off the bench, should be fit to play. I would probably guess about an hour in this game. One to look out for as well. They do not have Diego Luna. He is out injured, which is a really poor timing for him, as he is really right on that cusp of whether he will or will not be on the World Cup roster. They are expecting him back before the end of the month, but he is not going to make it for this game. They've got a teenager starting in central midfield, Luca Moisa, who is 17 and looks quite a bit younger than that, but really showed some poise and experience beyond his years. And at the back, they have Justin Glad, who is technically a DP, though only on paper. He's a buy-down DP, but one of the better center backs in the league over the last, decade at this point. And in goal, they have finally a real successor to Nick Rimando in Rafael Cabral, who has played every single available minute since signing last year. They had gone through Zach McMath, who had up and down years. If you remember David Ochoa, the young Mexican American, he was a bit of a character, very talented, but had a head on him, and they finally settled that position. So they're quite good in the spine. They are a little bit suspect on the wide parts of their back three. Lucas Engel is their left center back. He was in Cincinnati last year. Really a left back who is playing center back. Very smart player. He won't lose you the game. But again, if Atlanta can get direct at him, those are opportunities. And then right now, DeAndre Yedlin is actually supposed to be their starting right center back as he ages into more of a back three role, not bombing forward as much. He's out with a hamstring, so they're playing Philip Quinton there. He was a former Columbus Crew guy. He's bounced around a little bit. Probably not quite MLS starter week-to-week level. If Atlanta goes with Almiron on the left, that could be a mismatch that they could exploit, especially with how much Gozo likes to go forward. So I think that left side of Atlanta's attack, especially if they can send Baez or whoever going the other way, I think is a place where they can look to hurt Real Salt Lake, and especially at home. We haven't seen RSL do well on the road really ever. They have a terrible road record for their history. They were terrible on the road last year. The previous 2 years, they were a little bit better, but this is a tough game for them to come across the country, to play on turf, to play in an environment that is very difficult for opposing teams. I would think that that's a really big advantage for Atlanta, and I wouldn't resign yourselves to they beat Seattle. Atlanta can't beat them. I think this is kind of a toss-up. If anything, I would expect Atlanta to surprise some people this weekend, especially with how home teams have done so far this year.
We've talked a little bit about the battle on the left side. Now at left back, we're mostly expecting it to be Elias Baez, who was an interesting signing because, Atlanta already had a starting left back in Pedro Amador. And so I asked Tata about this a couple weeks back, and he said that he believes Pedro Amador has more technical qualities that are more similar to that of a midfielder. And then we see him play in midfield in this San Jose game. And I just kind of want to get your thoughts on what you saw. And honestly, like this, because this reminds me a little bit of Julian Gressel, right? A player that started as a wide player, comes into this team as kind of a right back, and is converted under Tata into kind of this more midfield player.
Fun story about Julian Gressel. He was taken with Orlando's draft pick. Orlando traded that pick to Atlanta for Donnie Toya.
Yep.
He took him in the expansion draft. So that's a fact that's been in my head for the last 9 years. But you're not wrong. This is we kind of talked about this. There are lots of midfielders, but it's very possible that Pedro Amador is actually one of the three best that they have. When you consider, again, when you look at Atlanta, what is their biggest problem is chance creation, right? It's being goal dangerous. And Amador, I remember he was averaging an assist every other game in 24 when he came in, and Atlanta went on that magical run, knocked out Inter Miami. And is that something that can help them? I think you can't close your mind to any possible avenue to create chances if you're Atlanta United. When you take your roster, you have to say, no one is locked in. No one is set in stone. We need to score more goals if we're going to compete this year. The MLS season is very forgiving. It is very possible, as we saw 2 years ago with Atlanta United, to go on a run, get in, and make things happen. Pedro Amador being in midfield, I thought it was really encouraging. There was that period in the game when he was there and San Jose had put Timo Werner on as a number 9, and their balance was a little bit off, and Atlanta was really able to actually get out. And that was really the period of the game where I thought they looked best. And then when San Jose moved Werner out wide, it looked like Atlanta struggled to deal with his movement a little bit more. But I really did like Amador in there. And again, if that's the way it all shakes out, and you've got a midfield three of, say, Jakob, Amador, and Galarza, or maybe Jakob drops back a line and you get Cooper Sanchez in there. If he wants to mix things up at center back, that's an option. Jakob, we know, can play right back. So there's some flexibility in this team, and that's what you want. You want to have guys that are versatile and can play different positions. Ultimately, Amador is too talented not to be on the field in some capacity, I would imagine. And Baez looks the part as a young player who the team has invested a premium roster slot in. So he's going to play as well. And there is definitely a way to make this work. I thought we saw that. You could even theoretically play Amador on the left, although I don't know if you'd end up with him and Baez taking up similar spaces, but maybe Amador can drop in, Almiron coming through the middle. There's lots of different ways you could do it. So there's a versatility element to his game that I would imagine Tata Martino really likes.
Evan, I have to tell you something. It's only week 3, but I've enjoyed your time here. Someone actually in the chat said you should be our next coach. But you are very knowledgeable.
No,
you are very knowledgeable of both teams. And I mean,
guys,
and you're telling us to play the kids.
To travel around the country and talk about soccer. I will never do anything else ever unless I am forced to. Okay? This is the greatest job. So I'm super grateful, and I'm super grateful for the Benz press spread, which in my opinion is the best in the league.
I agree.
Absolutely love working at the Benz. We're there twice, me and Dax. Me and Dax have 3 of the next 5 Atlanta United games. We have this game, the home game in 2 weeks against DC United, and then the away game in Chicago next month. So you'll be hearing plenty of me, and the fans, I'm sure, will turn on me by then. But glad to hear that the initial reviews are good, at least.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the only negative was the Orlando stuff. You know, you lost us a little bit when it came to the Orlando stuff. And
listen,
I saw your eyes when you brought up Joseph.
Down the middle. I am an equal opportunity praiser at this point.
Well, don't tell anybody, but we're gonna have you as the MLS guest of the year. Only week 3, I'm calling it. This is the Brandon Vasquez U.S. Open Cup trophy. But we're gonna rename it as top guest. So thank you.
Wow. I mean, listen, the Brandon Vasquez Atlanta United years. That's a remembering some guys deep cut. So I appreciate it.
I mean, I'll throw Donnie Toya in there too. That's a name I've heard in here.
Listen, Donnie's a great guy. I liked covering Donnie. I would have rather had Julian Gressel.
Yeah,
just me.
Yeah, I imagine so.
No,
I imagine so.
Julian Gressel probably doesn't become Julian Gressel if he's on 2017 Orlando City. So
that's true. Yeah,
you're welcome, Gressel.
Yeah. And what you got a couple more questions for you before we let you go. Let's take a wider lens view at MLS. Of course, the talk of MLS right now among MLS fans was probably going to be LAFC, Inter Miami, and MLS Cup when it's all said and done, right? And of course, Miami lost to LAFC 3-0. They came back against Orlando, though, from now 2-0 to win 4-2. So I feel like it's LAFC and Miami as probably the best 2 teams in MLS right now. That being said, is there a team in your eyes that could kind of break up that duo? Maybe a Vancouver, maybe a San Diego, who kind of stands out to you that could make some noise?
Well, first of all, if anybody thinks anyone is locked into MLS Cup, I suggest they ask Atlanta fans what happened to Miami in 2024. The MLS playoffs, to me, the playoffs are our greatest asset as a league, one of our greatest assets. I think the diversity of the talent in MLS is another one, and the diversity of the tactics. And I can't tell you how little I've enjoyed watching the Premier League devolve into set piece ball this year. And MLS actually features open play attacking and is exciting and entertaining. And I think that's something that we should hang our hats on. But the playoffs they're not the random number generator that like the baseball playoffs are. The home field really matters. The best of 3 series actually, I think, makes it more important to be in the top 4. except for the one time that it didn't. And so there is that little bit of element of randomness and volatility to it. And I think we can't count anything. That said, the two teams you mentioned are the two I was going to mention. Vancouver has, I think, the third best player in the league in Thomas Muller. They have maybe the best coach in the league in Jesper Sorensen. They are deep on every level. And then, man, San Diego. I had them last weekend. They were playing a St. Louis team that is at a talent deficit to begin with and was a little bit shorthanded. Their best player, Marcel Hartl, was away. His wife was giving birth to their second child, so they were without him. They were missing a couple of center backs, but it was it was not particularly competitive. San Diego, just the way that they move the ball and keep the ball in these narrow little, I mean, they were just doing rondos in the whole second half. And then they've got a star player in Anders Dreyer who elevates them, right? And is their ceiling raiser and match winner. Their center forward, Marcus Ingvartsen, he was hurt most of last year. Remember that name. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists through 2 games. He is so good combining with Dreyer and with Amal Pellegrino or whoever they throw on that left-hand side. Their midfield is outstanding. Jeppe Tverskov is the best player that MLS fans know about that people outside the league don't. A phenomenal number 6. Ani Valakari. You know, Ani Valakari had 19 goal contributions last year. San Diego is they're loaded. Luca Bombino, U.S. men's national team fans, remember that name. Manu Dua might be the best center back in MLS at age 20. We almost gave him man of the match in a game where Dreyer dribbled 2 guys for an assist. So this is a team that I think they don't have the high level name brand stars the way that LAFC and Miami do. But I think from an alignment perspective, what you want is what San Diego has, where the owner, the GM, the coach, the players, the staff, the academy are all on the exact same wavelength, doing the exact same thing in an aggressive, progressive model that emphasizes playing with the ball and being entertaining and scoring tons of goals. And they to do that as an expansion team is ridiculous. I think with Atlanta, there was so much star power, and you had Tata running circles around the league in the late 2010s that, and the pandemic certainly didn't help, but there was a little bit more volatility underneath the surface there. Whereas with San Diego, to me, this thing looks so well drilled from top to bottom that I think they could approach 70 points this season. They are going to give Toluca a heck of a game next week. I can't wait to see that in the Champions Cup. To me, that's the best game of the round. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do this year. In the East, it looks a little bit like Thunderdome at the moment, doesn't it? It's and Atlanta fans should take some heart in this, because teams that have been good look shaky. Orlando looks shaky. Defensively, they have been a disaster through 2 games. Charlotte looks really poor through 2 weeks. Got shredded by the LA Galaxy. That's a team that's been okay. You throw Charlotte in the playoffs. Columbus, no more Wilfred Nancy. 1 point through 2 games. They just drew at Kansas City. That's a game that they're going to want back when you look back on this in a few months. I thought Chicago was going to be really good. They were a team that I had pegged to finish very high. I thought they'd be much better defensively. They may, however, drop off offensively, at least while Andre Franco is hurt. I don't know that they're going to be quite as good as I thought they were going to be. Evander is hurt for Cincinnati, which was already a team that the underlying data didn't love. So there's a lot of moving parts in the Eastern Conference right now. I don't think any fan base should be hanging their heads and saying, we don't have a chance this year. It's going to be a long season. There's a lot to do. And the World Cup break, that summer transfer window, there's still 19 games to be played after the middle of July. This is a long season. So I think there is a lot to be written about the East. The West, I think, has a distinct top 3 that is going to run away from everybody else. But the East is outside of Miami, who I think just has too much talent. They will, figure it out overall. We saw what they did to Orlando in the second half. No other team in the league can do that. No other team has Messi. I know everybody's sick of talking about it, but he is singular. So there's just not a whole lot that you're going to be able to do over the course of 34 games to keep them below 70, 75 points. But everybody else I think is wide open right now in the Eastern Conference.
Evan, it's been an absolute pleasure. Before we let you go, I'm going to ask you a question that I ask all of our guests, and it's for you to give me your biggest MLS hot take for the season.
My biggest MLS hot take. I think I'll give you a general one. I think the league should be trying to sign as many European stars as humanly possible. The retirement league label got thrown around when guys like Pirlo and Lampard and Steven Gerrard were coming over, and they were clearly just shot, and there was nothing left there. And it became something that the league ran away from, I think probably smartly at the time, to deepen the rosters, get more players to come here in their prime. The guys that are coming now, the difference is that they're still good. Messi is one thing, but Son came at 33. If Antoine Griezmann signs with Orlando, he's coming at 34. These guys are signing at younger ages. Thomas Muller is, I think, 35, but his game ages so well. He's still brilliant. And Bayern Munich fans were furious at how that ended, that they let him walk and didn't even offer him a contract. So you have guys coming over at younger ages. And ultimately, if Major League Soccer is to break out into something that can really challenge the National Hockey League as the fourth largest men's sporting enterprise in North America, which I think is possible, because the National Hockey League is also very niche. If MLS is to do that, we're going to need stars. The quality of play is the most important thing, in my opinion, but the stars can help that. And I know people are averse to seeing lots of 30-somethings come over, but I think it's time for us to bring those guys back. And I think the progress we've made on that has already been really good. And I would like to see more of those players. I'd love to see Robert Lewandowski sign with Chicago this summer. The rumors about Mo Salah to San Diego. Mo Salah's got 3 or 4 years left in Europe if he wants it. If he were to come here, that would be a massive boon for the league. Griezmann, same thing. So I think there's to be less reactive towards, don't be afraid of the retirement league label anymore, would be my take. We should be embracing stars wanting to commit good years of their career to our league.
Awesome. Well, Evan, we appreciate your 2-0 at the Benz. You said you have 3?
Well, I'm unbeaten. I have a win and a draw in my 2 Atlanta Apple games. Okay. So,
well, we asked this earlier about
I also called a ton of Orlando City L's to Atlanta United in the late 2010s. So my overall Atlanta record has got to be really good.
Well, we were asking before you came on about how many points we expected on this homestand, but since you've got 3 of them, we are expecting 9 points from you. So just look, we'll meet you if you win. If we win on Saturday, we will meet you at Waffle House. Waffle House on us. We just meet us down there. We'll sneak in some White Claws, whatever, chocolate milk, whatever you like.
Yeah, I used to do the smothered hash browns, and I'd get like a second waffle. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I can't do that.
You'll feel like a kid with us. So after those 3 points, Waffle House, we'll see you there. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. Fun chatting.
Thanks, Evan. Cheers.
Yeah.
It's coming on.
Guest of the year, everyone.
Dude, really
knew everything. Dude, you could have brought up any MLS team, and he was going to tell you everything. He
Student
knew
of the game right there.
Yeah, I mean he was fantastic. I didn't know much about RSL. I feel like I'm their number 1 fan now. Well, no, screw them, they're going to lose. But with that said, is it time for the infomercial? Join our Patreon.
Yes.
Maybe you should let me handle it. It's screw it. Let me handle it. Join the Patreon, everyone.
Good.
Stop it, Henry. Join the Patreon. It's a fun community that we've been creating now for the past few years. We've added a Discord, which has been so many conversations throughout it about all Atlanta sports, about the twos. Gray's in there, our twos experts, which join us next week. Gray's going to be on Sunday. He's going to be talking about the twos. It's a fun time in there. And then we do mailbags, which we're doing after this show. We're going to be recording that, which should be fun. I don't know if I'm going to survive by the end of that, but we will get there. What else do we do? We have a store that you could get discounts on. I forgot what else. Is there anything else?
About it. I mean, yeah, go
come hang out with us.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes. And yeah, we have a $5 tier and $10 tier, depending on which one you sign up for. Gives you access to all kinds of great benefits that only patrons get access to. Patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes. Scarves.
Watch-alongs.
Yes, watch-alongs as well. Yes, that's important. That's important. Watch-alongs too. But yeah, patreon.com/Scarves and Spikes. ScarvesandSpikes.com is your home for Atlanta United news, analysis, and opinion. We'll, of course, have coverage of Atlanta United versus RSL. Myself, Henry, Tyler, and Jackson will be in the press box. Tommy will be in the stands.
I'll be drinking.
He'll be drinking from the stands. But yeah, we'll have coverage all weekend long. Our player ratings, our match reaction show, of course, is on YouTube, of course, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you're watching on YouTube live, thanks for joining us live. Or if you're watching after the fact, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and share our content as well. And again, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please subscribe there if you haven't already. Leave a review. Let us know how we are doing. And of course, like and subscribe on Facebook. Yes, definitely do it. Like and subscribe on Facebook.
Do it on Facebook. Wherever.
Yeah, wherever we are, please subscribe. And follow us on social media. Scarves, the letter and Spikes on X. ScarvesandSpikes.com on Blue Sky. Scarves Andy Spikes. Instagram and Threads. Facebook.com/Scarves Andy Spikes. Shall we talk?
Wow, you should read the thing like on when you hear about the like at the end of a commercial about like medicine, and they have to read all of the like everything that's gonna kill you, like basically in there. But you got it nailed down. I started that whole thing off at like a C level, and then you finished it off with an A. So yeah.
Happy to help. We already talked about how we go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say I had the question, but I will not be in the supporter section. I'm up in the 300s.
300s. We already talked about how we feel about the home opener itself, but I feel like RSL is a team that could give Atlanta trouble if they aren't careful. Evan mentioned Goza, who is a top young player in this league. He mentioned just other players that they have. There's a player that they have that is injured, unfortunately, for RSL, who will miss the entire rest of the year with an ACL or a ruptured Achilles. REPL, who is from Australia, but came over to Real Monarchs, their reserves team last year from Australia. Scored or not? I don't think he scored last week, but it's been part of their first team in 2026. But they had him, of course, Luna, who is injured, so he won't have any effect of the match. Of course, they went and beat not Red Bulls, but the Sounders 2-1 at home. I mean, that's always been a house of horrors for Seattle, but it's a team that, yes, with the players they have, the players that Evan mentioned, they can really give Atlanta trouble. And yes, Atlanta will be at home, so hopefully they get a boost from that. But that, along with that, hopefully Tata can make the necessary changes, as we mentioned earlier, to get this team playing the way it's supposed to play. I'm not going to go as far, and we'll do predictions in a little bit, but I'm not going to go as far as 3-2, like Tyler said. But I think if Atlanta's able to control the match and be the protagonist, as Tata mentioned about Cooper Sanchez, they could come out with a win. Tommy, what do you think?
You good?
Is that positivity?
That is positivity. You guys sound like I'm just negative. You guys sound like just negative every 24/7 on this show.
No, it's good to have some positivity.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you're talking about it. I mean, to me, I mean, it's got to be some changes made here, and we talked about it earlier. But who are we going to take out and then put in here to see some improvement? Because I mean, I know someone in the chat offered me 7 shots if they come out the same starting lineup. I can't survive that, and I don't want that. I don't want either or 7 shots or the same lineup. They need to make some changes here, and really, I think it comes down to a lot of it is who are your highest paid players here, and how do you get them into the lineup here and see? Because I know Evan was talking about that. Yeah, you can. Sometimes you got to sit your starters if it's not working, but we don't even know if it's really working. And all we've been told is that it was working in the preseason and that they can work well together. Well, this is the perfect time to see it, is in the home opener in front of, the biggest crowd that you might get this season. The home opener's always packed, always packed. And then after that, it's up to the team to fill the stands after that. Because if it's bad, then you're going to start getting pictures of the Mercedes-Benz empty, and you don't want that. This could be the biggest crowd that you get the entire season. You need to show up, and you need to be able to, like Evan said, attractive soccer. We haven't had attractive soccer in forever here. Maybe since the Montreal game. I mean, the last home opener. I mean, it maybe not that bad, but still, it was a crazy game. It was exciting, and that's what we would like to see at the opener, with a little bit more defense than that one.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to give my prediction now?
Well, maybe a little later.
A little later.
Let Henry give his
8-17, man.
No. I mean, I agree. We need to see a much better team than what we've seen these past 2 games. It needs to start coming together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We need to start seeing the vision of this team under Tata Martino. And look, home games, away games are much harder in MLS. And you've had Cincinnati, a legitimate contender, obviously, one that we expect to be among the top dogs in the East. San Jose, which is a cross-country trip, and they're also probably going to be pretty good this season, if we're being honest. You're at home. You need to show up for your fans. You need to show that there is something for them to look forward to, and to give them a reason to continue filling the stadium game after game. Because honestly, fans are understandably in that show me mode, where they want to see that, that it's worth going and spending your time and your money to go to these games. So give them some entertainment, give them some fun soccer, even if it ends up being a loss. At least make it a fun loss where you go home at least somewhat satisfied that you saw some fun soccer.
There's no fun loss in the home opener. There's no fun loss in the home opener.
Fun losses.
I know you don't want a fun loss, but I just want to see. I want to see basic soccer
progress.
I want to see. I want to see there be some promise, right? Because again, San Jose left me very disappointed, because there was nothing redeemable really about that performance, except for a few little things. But I want this home opener to show me that there is a vision, and that there is a way for this team going forward to compete, as Tata said, to compete for the whole season, and not just the first month or the first half of the season, the whole season. Make it matter. Make it matter.
So why don't you give us your prediction while we're at it, Henry?
Oh, God.
I didn't get to give mine.
What?
I didn't get to give mine.
Look at yours. Well, why don't you tell me? Why don't you go first? Why don't you go first?
No,
I insist.
Gummies.
Oh, okay. All right.
Who's going?
Tommy, go.
Okay. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a very stressful 2-1. A very stressful.
For who?
Atlanta. Atlanta's winning. I am 3-0 in home openers at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So I need, like Evan, where we got streaks on the line here. Yeah. And I absolutely, I think it's going to be, I think there's going to be a lot of chances there, but Jaden Hibbert's going to be there to make all the saves.
Jaden Hibbert starts, you think?
I mean, if I'm going to write my fan fiction, since Tyler's not here.
Like, slip that under the radar. Didn't think we'd notice. Henry, your prediction.
2-0 RSL.
Oh.
Yeah, I still have
Get out.
no real reason to believe that this attack is coming together. I want to be proven wrong. Look,
Yeah.
I've bet these past 2 games on them winning and they've lost. So maybe this gives them, they switch it on me and they actually win. I'm trying here. Okay. If I can't win the
Reverse
prediction
psychology.
challenge crap that we're doing, at least let it mean something.
All right. So welcome to the Scarves and
Tommy
Spikes
just
with Tommy and
kicked Henry.
Sydney. Welcome to the new show here of the positivity. I feel like this is more well balanced. If you think so, do we let him back?
I just let him back in till the show ends.
If he
How about
has a
that?
better attitude, we can. All right. Well,
I think he'll be
now
fine.
I'm in the middle.
Did you really just Pineda
Welcome back,
Island me?
exactly what I was going to do for you. We don't need this negative energy right before the home opener.
Why am I
Absolutely
getting
not.
blamed in the chat?
Look, we talked about this earlier. Home opener, seeing friends, having drinks, and winning the damn home opener. That is what we're talking about. Let's see what the chat has, because we don't need any more
Give my
of
prediction
Henry's.
first.
I thought you gave your prediction. I thought you said it was
No, I
going to.
didn't.
I swear you
What?
did. Am
What do you
I wrong?
think what do you think I said?
I swear you said it was like 3-1.
I said I don't think it'll be like Tyler said, and it'll be 3-2 Atlanta.
Oh. Sorry, I was
No,
half
you're good.
listening.
You're good. I actually agree with Henry. I think it's 2-1 Atlanta. I think I don't know if the
Wait. That's why I said 2-1 Atlanta.
Oh, you said 2-1 Atlanta. I'm sorry. Henry said 2-0 RSL.
I thought you were going to say 2-0
I agree with
again.
you.
I was
I
going to
agree
kick you
with you.
both
You're
out
about to
and
get
just run
kicked
the
out.
show
He was
myself.
ready to kick you out.
No, I agree with Tommy.
I had the button ready to go. Literally
I
on
saw
the
it in his
trigger.
eyes.
I think we get a headed goal by a center back, and I think we get a screamer from distance.
So
I don't
Stian is
think-
starting.
Yeah, let's say Stian starts and gets a header.
Yeah.
And then let's say Moranchuk scores from distance to make it ultimately 2-1 Atlanta United. That's my
All right.
prediction.
Well, let's see what the chat, if there's positivity. Omar is saying,
dude.
well, and he's saying, so Omar's is usually not on the positive side there, but he says 4-1 Atlanta. That's what I'm talking about.
Wow.
Yeah.
2 from Alexi, 1 from Latte, 1 from Miggy.
Oh.
Bet the lottery if that happens. All right, Derek.
See,
Did
I'm
you
not
just
the
copy
only
off Derek? Did you copy off Derek Henry?
one. No. He
2-0
said that.
lost.
No, heck no.
He said it before you.
He said it before I did. Okay,
I
well,
think he
I was
said
not
before
looking at
Henry.
the chat, honestly.
Justin doesn't have expectations. He just says we need to see goals and not from the visitor. So
No, he does
Yeah.
have one.
That'd be great. Yeah, while we're pulling it up, Sprawlby says 2-1 RSL. Justin says, yeah, 2-1, Latte Lot and Miggy score. Bruno says 3-1 Atlanta. Colonel says, expect nothing, get nothing. I expect nothing. So thanks, Colonel, for your optimism as always. No, we love you, Colonel. Just kidding. If you're watching us after the fact, please leave your predictions in the comments. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave a comment. I think you leave a comment on Spotify, but you can't leave a comment on Apple Podcasts. Either way, hit us up on social with your prediction and let us know what you think. We wanted to get you involved, even though you aren't here with us live. So, yeah, leave a comment on YouTube, like I said, social media, or leave a comment on Spotify with your prediction. What else? Anything else before we get out of here?
who's going to score? I was asked. I guess I didn't get that deep into my fan fiction. I'm going to go with a Latte Loft brace.
Oh, okay. Get off the market home. I like it.
All right.
Then I'm going to
then.
take a screenshot of it and send it to MLS Moves and say, "Shut up, he's back."
Hold on. We don't want beef between Scars and Spikes and MLS Moves.
I know
We don't
him.
need
It's okay.
podcast beef.
It's the enemies you make on the way. Maybe earlier it was the friends that we made on the way. Now it's there.
Yeah.
We can go either way. Whew.
Henry, any final thoughts?
Let's just get out of here, man. This was a fun episode. Let's go before Tommy kicks me out again.
Before we
Say
go,
something nice.
Tommy,
Say
any
something
final
nice.
thoughts? What's that your final
Here's
thought?
the final thought. Come hang out with us. We will be around. We will be everywhere. We'll be at the Gulch, rain or shine, having some drinks. Come talk to us. Come hang out. I think there might be a bingo board somewhere around there. I think we might be playing the Atlanta United TV guys. But yeah, come say hi. It's probably my only time here this year, so I'd like to say hi to everyone.
One more thing before we go. Tommy, where are you?
Do you have a Jurgen Damm video?
No.
Oh,
where are you on social media?
Oh, please don't lose. At myspace.com. Tommy HL96. He makes me.
Should I be worried?
Time.
Henry, where are you on social media?
Please don't be mad. This is my honest opinion.
Don't steal my thing.
Help.
Get your own bit, Henry. You have the hot take. Tommy has his
at HA
social media.
At HA Higuita on Twitter and Blue Sky. At HA_Higuita on Instagram.
I'm SH Rights on X and Blue Sky. CityH.Soccer, Instagram, and Threads. Scars, the letter N Spikes on X. Scars, AndDspikes.com on Blue Sky. Scars, AndDspikes on Instagram and Threads. Facebook.com/Scars, AndDspikes. We will see you next time. Thanks for watching. See you at the Gulch.
Peace.
Thanks for watching and listening, I should say.
Am I allowed to talk now?
Yes.
Yes.
Talk.
Okay. Well, I remember week 1 callback here. You yelled at me. I cried.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, that was really mean of you.
I'm sorry.
All right. Have you both had opportunities to eat like different food at the Benz? Like, have you gone through the stands? Like, have you tried different things there?
Not really. I mean, I've had like the basic stadium fare, like hot dogs and
Yeah, same.
stuff like that. Nothing extreme.
Have you had the brisket grilled cheese?
Dude, I wish. It looks so good.
I have not. Are you
I
getting
had
that?
a dream about it last night.
You dreamed about it?
I dreamt about it. I did. I think it was Coach Steve that told me about it last time, and I had it at the Falcons game, I think, 2 years ago. And I had the dream. I woke up and the brisket grilled cheese was right next to me. I wasn't even at the Benz. It just like teleported to Brunswick, Ohio, and I had it. And I really, really want that brisket grilled cheese. So meet me at the brisket grilled cheese stand.
You manifested for your dreams, Tommy.
I'm going to live that dream on Saturday. I have plenty of drinks at the Gulch, and I'm going to walk over and have a brisket grilled cheese.
That sounds good. I have to try that.
Maybe there.
Tommy's buying the first person that talks to a brisket grilled cheese.
And probably the mindset I will be in by the time I'm in that line there, and you know me, just come by. I'll get you a brisket grilled cheese. Or give you Tina's, whichever.
Yep.